Hi guys, Marvin here from TechBroll.com, where we do unboxings, reviews, and sexy b-rolls. And today, welcome to the third episode of our flash review series, where I provide you guys with quick reviews of newly released products like what we have here today. What we have here is the new Tecware Exo Elite gaming mouse, one of the cheapest available ultralight gaming mouse out in the market right now. We're also going to compare it with the Rakk Kaptan and the Cooler Master MM711. With that being said, let's get into it. Alright guys, so right here we have the packaging of the new Tecware Exo Elite Ultralight Gaming Mouse. So we have a preview of the product in front, the model name, and some key specifications here at the bottom. But what's important here is the weight of only 69 grams. Nice! The packaging is actually quite nice, especially the design and details all around the box. And then at the back we have here all the specifications, and what's important here is that it uses the reliable PMW3389 sensor that is also available on a lot of newly released gaming mice since last year. It also uses one switches, which are known to be quite durable, and of course it has RGB lighting and paracord cable, which Tecware calls Aerocord. And lastly, we have the model name Exo Elite and another preview of the product right here. By the way, the Tecware Exo Elite is only one of the three latest gaming mice from Tecware, and this is actually the best amongst the three in terms of the sensor. We also have the Tecware Exo Lite, which uses Sun Plus 6651 sensor, and the Exo Plus, which uses the PixArt 3327. With that out of the way, let's see what comes in the package. There you go. So the first thing you'll notice inside the box is the mouse itself, nicely protected by this massive foam around it. So let me just pull the mouse outside for a second. Aside from the mouse itself, we have some replacement mouse gliders right here, and that's about it. We don't have any user manual, unfortunately. I guess one way to cut the cost. Thankfully, you can download one from Tecware's official website. Alright, let's take a closer look at the Tecware Exo Elite. At first look and touch, it definitely looks like the glorious Model O, no doubt about that, but to be fair, it's not an exact copy. Now, one thing I immediately like about this mouse is that it has this nice matte texture all around it that I personally like compared to glossy finish or a soft touch finish that can peel over time. Aside from that, we have here the left and right mouse clickers, which are Huano switches, the scroll wheel, a DPI button, and the holes for the same honeycomb design that we see on most ultralight gaming mouse out in the market. Flipping it on its side, we have a nice Tecware logo with the same placement as the glorious Model O behind the forward and back buttons. The difference in terms of design is with the RGB lining, which the Model O has above the forward and back buttons compared to this with the RGB lining located at the bottom. Looking at the back side, we can see the relatively short bump and the ambidextrous shape of this mouse. And turning it all over at the right side, we have an Exo logo right here, again the same placement as the logo of the glorious Model O. And I don't understand why Tecware decided to almost entirely copy the design of the glorious Model O. Like, I guess it's okay to copy the shape since it's already tested to work with different sizes of hands, but copying the placement of the logos is I think too much in my opinion. The only difference here really is the placement of the RGB lining. Let me know in the comments below what you think about that. Moving on, looking at the bottom of the mouse, we have 4 mouse gliders. However, as you can see here, a couple of them are already peeling off out of the box, which is not a very good sign for quality. Thankfully, I can easily stick them back on like so. Aside from that, we have the PMW3389 sensor, some branding logos, and we have a lift-off distance button right here. I wonder how this works, but I guess we'll find that out later. And lastly, we have the same honeycomb design here all around the sensor. Now in terms of the cable right off the bat, it feels thicker and stiffer than the other ultralight mouse that I've tried, but at least it has a gold-plated USB plug with a rubber cap. But yeah, the cable definitely feels thicker and stiffer, but is still quite flexible and better overall if you compare this with a normal braided cable. Overall, in terms of design and construction, it is a mixed bag for me. I like the design, it looks really good, the texture feels really nice, but I don't like the fact that they've essentially copied the design of the glorious Model O except for the RGB lining. Now in terms of the shape and grip styles, like I said, this is ambidextrous, so left-handed users can also use this mouse. It is most suitable for people with relatively large hand, and grip styles will highly vary depending on the size of your hands, but generally, it is good for fingertip, claw, and possibly palm grip, again depending on the size of your hand. And with the long shape, your hand can sit right on top of the mouse, allowing you to have full control using your forearm if you're that kind of gripper. Personally, I don't like to place the edge of my palm on top of the mouse, as I like to grip and move the mouse using my fingers alongside my forearm. So yeah, at the end of the day, it will boil down to your grip style and hand size, and if you can get an opportunity to try one for yourself, then that is the most ideal thing to do before deciding to grab any gaming mouse. Now in terms of the buttons, even though this one is using Huano switches, I am happy to say that it's not that hard to press. They also have this kind of low pitch click to it compared to Omron switches. However, I cannot say the same with the scroll wheel. It feels terrible, it feels quite cheap, and there's barely enough tactile feedback to it, And it also has this kind of squeaking or clicking sound when you scroll it up and down, which is kinda annoying. Definitely one of the worst scroll wheel that I've experienced in a while. Later we'll do a sound test so that you can have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. The forward and back buttons on the other hand are good, easily reachable, and have a very satisfying crispy click, albeit a little heavy to click. So yeah, in terms of comfort, with the right size of hand, it is quite comfortable. The texture feels really nice, the buttons for the most part is satisfying, and with a weight of 69 grams, though not the lightest by any means, is still pretty decent for a mouse of this size. Alright guys, moving on, let's do a quick comparison with a couple of lightweight gaming mice that I have right here. So here's the Cooler Master MM711. As you can see, it is significantly smaller than the Tecware Exo Elite and is perfect for the size of my hand, as you can see here. Like I said, I don't like the edge of my palm sitting on top of the mouse, but that's just me. Of course, your preference could be different. So if you have a bigger hand, then the Tecware Exo Elite should be a better option for you. Both are ambidextrous in terms of shape. Now right here I have the Rakk Kaptan, which I'd say the size is right in the middle between the Tecware Exo Elite and the Cooler Master MM711. However, the Rakk Kaptan's bump is taller and is shaped specifically for right-handed users only, so that's another consideration. So essentially, for people with a small hand like me and prefers a shorter bump, the Cooler Master MM711 is probably the best choice amongst these three. The Rakk Kaptan on the other hand is suitable for right-handed users who prefers a shape that's more inclined towards the right and with a tall bump near the center. And lastly, the Tecware Exo Elite is in my opinion suitable for people with medium to large hands that prefer an ambidextrous shape and with a short bump. With all that being said, all these gaming mice that we have right here have pretty much the same sensor, which is the BMW3389. A sensor that is already proven to be reliable and, like I said, being used by most newly released budget to mid-range gaming mice. As for the cable, the Tecware Exo Elite has the worst with thick and stiff cable, followed by the Rakk Kaptan, and with the Cooler Master MM711 having the best cable amongst these three. For the scroll wheel, again the Tecware by far has the worst with almost no tactile feedback, followed by the Rakk Kaptan, and again with the Cooler Master MM711 having the best scroll wheel with solid tactile feedback and stable overall construction. For the mouse clickers, it is subjective between Omron and Huano, with the Cooler Master MM711 being the only one that uses Omron switches here. Omron is lighter in terms of actuation while Huano is heavier. As for the weight, the Rakk Kaptan is the heaviest at around 82 grams, followed by the Tecware Exo Elite at around 69 grams, nice, and Cooler Master MM711 being the lightest at 60 grams. And now, to finish our quick comparison, here's a sound test for you guys. Now, going back to the Tecware Exo Elite in terms of performance, as expected with the BMW3389 sensor, I did not encounter any issues with it aside from the fact that I am having a hard time comfortably gripping the mouse. I find myself adjusting the position of my hand from time to time. But that is subjective, of course. Again, your mileage may vary depending on the size of your hand. But yeah, raw performance wise, the PMW3389 sensor is quite accurate, doesn't spin out of line, and the one switches are very satisfying and easy to click. And although the forward and back buttons are kinda heavy to press and the scroll wheel is terrible, it doesn't matter here for gaming as you won't usually use those buttons anyways. So for pure gaming, the Tecware Exo Elite is certainly capable. Alright guys, before we end this review, let's check out the RGB lighting effects and the software. The Tecware Exo Elite features RGB lighting around the edges as you can see here, and it can produce up to 16.8 million colors, making it a true RGB gaming mouse. With that said, here are all the lighting effects available for you. As for the software, I find the Tecware Exo Elite software adequate with things that are vital to maximizing the potential of this gaming mouse. However, I find it quite basic. As you can see here, you cannot just simply click on any of these numbers. You'll have to go here on the upper left wherein you can actually customize the buttons. So you can change a button to a different function like other mouse functions, key combinations, macro, and you can also opt to disable a button. You can also remap it for DPI adjustments, multimedia shortcuts, and DPI lock. Aside from that, we also have here the profile section wherein you can save up to 3 different profiles. You can also define your preferred DPI settings here and adjust them individually in increments of 100. Aside from that, we also have the lighting section wherein you can customize the lighting effects like what I showed you earlier. We also have here the mouse parameters like mouse sensitivity, scrolling speed, double clicking speed, and lift off distance. Now check this out guys. The Tecware Exo Elite has an LOD button at the bottom as you can see here. However, it doesn't really give you an idea what settings you're currently at when you press the button. The settings on the software doesn't even change when you press the button. So basically, this button is useless because you'll just be guessing around what LOD settings are currently at. So I guess you're better off with just using the software for setting up the LOD, right? Let me know in the comments below what you think about that. Aside from that, we have here the polling rate setting and the debounce time setting. Now, it says here to check the README. However, I cannot find one from the downloaded folder of the software and even on Tecware's website. So I guess you'll just have to do some trial and error or just leave it as it is. But basically, this is for reducing the debounce time of a mechanical switch. Alright guys, so to conclude, what I like about the Tecware Exo Elite is the design. Although it is almost a copy of the Glorious Model O, there's no denying that it looks really good, especially with this matte white version with grey accents. It feels really good, and just generally holding it, it feels durable enough. The sensor of choice is good as well with the reliable PMW3389 sensor, and the RGB lighting effects are also nice for people that like fancy RGB. However, there are also a lot of things that I don't like about this gaming mouse. I don't like the fact that they've copied essentially almost everything from the Model O, including the placement of the logos. I feel like they could have just copied the shape but tried to be different in terms of design aside from just placing the RGB lining at the bottom. The forward and back buttons, although easily reachable, are quite heavy to press. The mouse gliders are not that good, the cable is thick and stiff, and lastly, like I said, the scroll wheel is the worst that I've experienced so far with almost no tactile bump and with an annoying sound. With all that being said though, if you're just looking for a decent gaming mouse purely just for gaming, then the Tecware Exo Elite is still worth considering, especially at a very inexpensive price tag of around 1,500 pesos or $30 US. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to check the full article link below. You can get this gaming mouse from where I bought it, which is from Softbox Solutions, one of my trusted PC shops here in the Philippines. Let me know in the comments below what else you want me to review. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you like this, and see you next time. Have a great day.